Speaking of sandboxes, let's see what everybody's saying out in our sandbox. Pirate Queen is here. How you doing? It says, "Hey Andre, do you remember a cigarette smoking Cal Anka comic that Disney sent a cease and desist letter to, and they had to alter it maybe 30 years ago? Can you still get the
Yeah.
comics?"
This is the first thing I ever heard of.
Oh,
But I can kind of imagine what it is. Kalla Anka, for those who may wonder, is the Swedish name for Donald Duck. So this is something
Ah.
that would have happened in Sweden.
So it
This
wasn't
tells
Paul
me
Anka's kid.
no. It was not Paul Anka's kid. Anka is Swedish for duck. And so what I can instantly tell happened here is that then you have had a local Swedish cover artist, and this Swedish cover artist has then drawn a cover for the magazine with Donald Duck smoking, because you totally do that in the Nordic countries, and I don't have that cover, but I have some other covers that were made in that time in Norway that you freaking wouldn't believe. See if I can find some and show you later on. But anyway, this thing right here, I'm Norwegian, so I can only like deduce what must have happened from the thing right here. Can you still get that comic? I would imagine that if you go to a Swedish antiquarium place where they sell used comics, you're going to be able to find that one. It's not going to be like that many around, but for anyone that really wants it, you should be able to find one in Sweden. I'd be surprised if you couldn't. But beyond that, this is the first thing I have ever heard of it. Ask me about the controversy that happened in Norway. I might be able to answer that with a little bit more detail. Oh, in Norway, the name for Donald Duck. Can you guess what Donald Duck is called in Norwegian?
No idea.
Donald Duck. We didn't change. And in Danish, it's got. No, I've forgotten what it's called in Danish. So never mind. But yeah. When we're on the languages, this is the worst of all. You know what the Swedes call Mickey Mouse?
Mousey Mickey?
Because it's like extra funny when you translate it back to English. No, the Swedish name for Mickey Mouse is Musse Pig.
Oh, that's right. You told me that before.
Yeah. Pig in Swedish does not mean pig, but it's like funny when you take it back to English again. So yeah.
Well,
but anyway, enough Scandi humor.
Ivan Kuhn says, Andre, tell them about Batman in Swedish.
Yeah, because this was from when we were talking about the Swedish name for Mickey Mouse. The Swedish name for Batman, that's even more fun. Lederlappen, which means the patch of leather.
Okay.
And the Norwegian name for Batman, which has long since been discarded and discontinued, and probably so has Lederlappen in Sweden. I would be surprised if that is still in use. But back in like the 70s and 80s, the Norwegian name for Batman was Lynvingen, meaning the lightning wing. I have no idea how they came up with all these names.
Bruce Wayne would doing the hoodie, boo Eddie, and boom, Perch dead. So he comes, flappy, 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 Batman.
But probably it's because if you translate Batman directly to Norwegian and to Swedish, it would freaking sound idiotic.
Right.
I mean, like, you can say Batman in English and it works fine. Whereas if you say Batman in Norwegian, Flaggermusmannen, you just burst out laughing because it sounds ridiculous.
But the concept of a bat, I think in Sweden, people would think of it the same way.
Yeah, but it has a ridiculous name. Like, it's called Flightermouse. So it
Eat
would
your
literally
flippy
be
moose.
Fighter Mouse Man.
Right. It's a
Yeah, so like
concatenated word.
Batman sounds intimidating, right? Flighter Mouse Man doesn't sound quite as intimidating, does it? And that is literally what you would have to call him, because the
Well, wasn't
Scandinavian
that
word
the
for
joke
a
of the
bat
character?
is a flighter mouse.
I was gonna say, wasn't that the whole joke with the character on the tick, and that's why they had to change it in the US, because it's a literal translation of Batman, if I'm not
What was
mistaken.
this? I
The
think you may be
Flattermouse or whatever from the tick. That's his name or whatever. They had to change it for the because it's a literal translation of Batman. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's true. This is true. Yes, that is exactly right. That is
The
the literal
Flatermouse or
translation of
whatever. Yeah.
Batman. Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst though was the initial first time, one time only Norwegian translation of Wolverine, when that Hulk comic first came out, the one where he first appears and he calls himself Wolverine, right? I can only imagine that the Norwegian translator had no idea what a Wolverine translated into. Like, he obviously must have known what a Wolverine is, because because we have them in Norway, but he evidently did not connect that a Wolverine is what we call a jerv, and that would be the Norwegian name for Wolverine later on from his next appearance. But this first, yeah, exactly, same thing in Swedish. Is jerv is the both Norwegian and Swedish name for Wolverine. But this translator then, it did not connect to him that the Norwegian name for a Wolverine is a jerv, so he simply translated it into the she-wolf, because that's what he thought Wolverine was, a female wolf.
I can
So,
see where
yeah.
you could get to that. Yeah, the "een"
Fun
part
with
at the end.
translations.
Yeah. And then of course, yeah, the Flatermouse later became Batman. Wow. But thank you for that, Ivan Kuhn. That's a good question. Or a good yeah, good road to go down, I should say, however you want to